oppose against them. So when I fight this guy, it's all he was a nobody. When I fight this guy, all he was washed. When I fight this guy, it's an excuse, you know. So who you want me to fight? I beat this guy, it's an excuse. I beat this guy, you know, he's too young or what.
Terence Crawford has stunned the boxing world by announcing his retirement in a deeply emotional way, leaving fans visibly heartbroken. The undefeated champion didn't simply step away quietly. Instead, he released a powerful 6-minute YouTube video in which his voice broke multiple times as he explained why he was leaving the sport at 38, right after securing what many consider one of the greatest victories in modern boxing history. Fighting back tears, Crawford told fans that he felt he had nothing left to prove and emphasized that making the decision to retire on his own terms was far more important to him than chasing another big payday or adding yet another belt to his collection.
So I'm never really going to give my full respect until afterwards. Yes, you know, it's a lot of people that's changing their narrative. Like, man, y'all watching something great right now, and we not appreciating it. And it's sad to say that we waking up at the tail end of his career.
On Tuesday evening, Crawford took to social media with a simple yet powerful caption: "Walking away is great with nothing else left to prove. #CrawfordEra." The announcement quickly went viral, racking up millions of views across platforms as fans poured into the comments expressing both heartbreak and admiration for one of boxing's greatest pound-for-pound fighters choosing to retire while still at the top. However, the suddenness of the decision has ignited intense debate within the boxing community, as Crawford's full statement revealed layers of reasoning that few fans anticipated. Adding to the controversy, Jake Paul also made some surprising remarks that have further fueled discussions around this unexpected retirement.
I'm gonna put a dent in his career a bit.
Terence Crawford announces retirement from boxing today. What do you make of that, Jake Paul?
I think it's cap. I don't think he's actually retiring, but it's a smart move by him.
Are you good?
According to insiders, Jake Paul reportedly brushed off Crawford's retirement as nothing more than a strategic move during his Miami Open workout. Paul allegedly told the media, "He's not retired, bro. You guys have seen this millions of times in boxing. He's not retired, but he's got everyone talking about him because of that." So, smart play by Terence. The comments are especially striking given that just weeks prior, rumors circulated that Crawford's team had been approached about a potential fight with Paul that could have been worth tens of millions of dollars. Many observers believe Paul may be frustrated that Crawford retired before negotiations for what could have been one of the biggest crossover bouts in boxing history could even take place, and his dismissive remarks might reflect disappointment at missing out on the opportunity.
I'm out of retirement and you're going to face Terence Bud Crawford?
I'll fight Crawford 100% next year. He already was down this year, but we're going to make it happen next year.
Final message for all the Jake Paul fans out there worldwide.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the support always.
The boxing community has been split ever since Crawford's dominant win over Canelo Alvarez in September, with many expecting a rematch to deliver the biggest payday of both fighters' careers. However, Crawford clearly had different priorities. Interestingly, he had been dropping subtle hints about retirement for months, but few took him seriously, as it's common for fighters to talk about stepping away without actually doing so.
Walking away like this is rare. Terence Crawford just retired 42-0, and honestly, that's how you do it. No chasing checks, no hanging around too long, no letting the game humble you on the way out. He leaves as the only boxer in the 4-belt era to become undisputed in 3 weight classes, something we may not see for a very long time. And he put the final stamp on.
Every fighter knows that moment will come. You just never know exactly when. Crawford reflected on his journey, saying he spent his entire life chasing something deeper than belts, money, or headlines. That feeling you get when the world doubts you, but you keep showing up and proving everyone wrong. He went on to share even more heartfelt words, explaining that boxing gave him everything, and that he fought for his family, his city, and the kid he once was, the one who had nothing but a dream and a pair of gloves. He emphasized that he achieved it all on his own terms. Those words resonate even more strongly now, knowing Crawford is truly walking away at the very peak of his powers, a feat very few fighters in history have managed. Many boxing analysts also believe that Crawford's decision was influenced by events just 2 weeks before his retirement, when the WBC stripped him of his super middleweight title for allegedly refusing to pay $300,000 in sanctioning fees.
just a few months ago. What I respect most is that Crawford knew to stop, and a lot of greats don't. They convince themselves that there's one more fight left, and usually that's when the story changes. Crawford even said it himself, "I'm done fighting because I want a different kind of battle, the one where you walk away on your own terms." That line says everything.
Sources indicate that this controversial situation left a bitter impression on Crawford regarding the politics and business side of boxing, and it may have been the final push that led him to retire while his health and legacy remained intact. The most moving part of his announcement came when he shared what walking away on his own terms truly meant to him. With a noticeably emotional voice, Crawford explained, "I'm stepping away from competition, not because I'm done fighting, but because I've won a different type of battle, the one where you walk away on your own terms. This isn't goodbye. It's just the end of one fight and the beginning of another."
I wouldn't be mad if I never see Terence fight again. The way he performed, getting ready to be 38, I think, in a few days. Man, what better way to go out? What better way to tell the game goodbye? What better?
Those who have followed Crawford's career closely say that his retirement reflects much more than simply stepping away from the sport. It's about protecting his mental and physical health while leaving the sport with his legacy intact. He retires with a perfect 42-0 record, including 31 knockouts, and remarkably, he was never knocked down even once in his entire professional career. Even more astonishing, not a single judge ever awarded a round to one of his opponents, highlighting just how dominant he was in the ring. Fans have taken to social media in droves, expressing a mix of support, admiration, and disbelief over the announcement, with emotions running high throughout the boxing community.
Who you gonna fight? I was arguing with Max on the way to the venue about Boots Ennis. Nah, we don't go fight Canelo and then go back and fight Boots Ennis. I saw a report today, somebody was talking about him going up to light heavyweight. Nah, we don't go up to light heavyweight. We just went up 3 weight classes since the Spence fight in 2 weight classes.
One fan tweeted, "Undefeated, undisputed, and dipped before anyone could touch him. That's how legends exit." Another shared their admiration, writing, "Have your well-deserved rest, champ. You've earned it more than anyone in this sport." However, not everyone is convinced the retirement is final, as some fans and analysts speculate that Crawford could be using this announcement as leverage for bigger fights. One skeptical fan commented, "That check from the Canelo fight must have just hit his account. He'll be back when they offer him $100 million for the rematch." Another added, "He don't want to give Canelo that rematch. He's scared Canelo will come back with 2 working arms this time." Such skepticism isn't without precedent, as boxing history is full of fighters who retire only to return when the right opportunity or payday appears, and many believe Crawford could do the same if the offers become substantial enough.
Specifics, if you watch my channel, you know what I'm talking about. Last week I said that, there was going to be some big news come down the pipe. When you hear it, you guys will know. Terence Bud Crawford has officially announced his retirement via his social media platforms. So, and it's a great thing. He left on top.
The timing of Crawford's retirement has sparked intense debate across the boxing world, particularly because several mega-fight opportunities were still on the table that could have shattered pay-per-view records. Just last week, Canelo Alvarez's trainer Eddie Reynoso publicly stated that they were aiming for a rematch in September 2026, which promised to be one of the biggest rematches in boxing history. In addition, talks were ongoing for Crawford to potentially move up to middleweight for even more legacy-defining matchups, and there were rumors that he might headline a major Riyadh season event in early 2026.
Pretty much knew that Canelo was going to be the last fight. He was pretty much done. There's nothing else more to accomplish. You proved all of your haters wrong. Everyone who hated on you all the way to 42-0. And you proved everybody, who believed in you, you proved them right.
Boxing promoter Turki Alshik, who played a key role in making the Canelo fight happen by offering both fighters enormous purses, reportedly isn't thrilled about Crawford retiring before cashing in on the rematch and other major bouts. Sources close to the situation indicate that Turki invested heavily in turning Crawford into a mainstream star through his Riyadh season cards in 2024 and 2025, making his retirement just as he reached household name status feel oddly timed. Bernie Davis, Crawford's coach, reportedly told Mill City Boxing in a recent interview that Crawford's asking price for any potential comeback would be exactly $100 million. No less, no more. As Davis allegedly put it, not $75 million, not $90 million, but a flat $100 million. If it's not that, then what's the point?
Terence Crawford walking away as a great with nothing else left to prove. He's actually attached a YouTube video. In this video, he is receiving the key to the city. He's on the stage. He's thanking everybody that brought him to where he was in boxing. Bo McIntyre, Shakur Stevenson, everyone around him in his team. I'm #1 pound for pound. I'm 3 times undisputed. I'm 5-division champion.
This has led many boxing insiders to speculate that Crawford's retirement could be a strategic move designed to increase his value and compel promoters to meet his asking price if they hope to see him back in the ring. However, those closest to Crawford insist that this time is truly different, highlighting that he is stepping away with his perfect record, his health, and his legacy intact, a feat achieved by very few fighters in history. His retirement also reignites conversations about fights that never materialized and rivalries left unresolved. The most prominent example is Errol Spence Jr., whom Crawford decisively defeated in July 2023, winning by TKO in the 9th round when the referee stopped the contest.
I hear you. And the final question, Terence Crawford just announced his retirement. What are your thoughts on this? Is this for real? What do you think? The GOAT is retired.
Listen, man, I don't think Terence is playing. Listen, he's a serious man. He's given the game so much. Congratulations to you, Terence Crawford, bro. Whatever you want to do.
Spence had exercised his contractual right to a rematch after that crushing defeat, but the fight never came to fruition despite months of negotiations and social media exchanges. While Spence has not publicly reacted to Crawford's retirement, sources suggest he may feel a sense of relief that the pressure of a rematch is finally lifted. Since that loss, Spence hasn't competed, dealing with eye injuries that required surgery, which many believe affected his performance in their first encounter. Meanwhile, unfinished matchups with fighters like David Benz continue to stir debate, as analysts argue he could have posed a serious challenge to Crawford. Critics have also noted that Crawford's timing seems strategic, retiring just as a younger, hungrier generation of fighters began to emerge as real threats. One analyst remarked on social media, "Crawford is smart. He saw Benz, Morrell, and the new generation coming and got out before they could expose him. That's not legendary, that's calculated."
I think you deserve it. You know, you blessed us with many great fights, bro. You know, at the end of the day, your accolades will never be replicated, brother. And you know, you finally got your just due. So respect to you, man, and enjoy life outside of the ring.
But if you had to make a bet, does he come back?
I don't think so.
Another critic wrote, "Retiring after beating a one-armed 35-year-old Canelo doesn't make you the GOAT. Real legends stick around and fight everyone." Crawford cherry-picked his way to 42-0. In response, Crawford supporters have been quick to defend his legacy, noting that he unified divisions, moved up multiple weight classes, and defeated every opponent he faced throughout his 17-year professional career. One of the most intriguing subplots of Crawford's retirement is its impact on the super middleweight division. With Crawford now officially retired, all 4 major titles at 168 pounds are vacant, opening the door for a new champion to emerge. Many fans see this as a positive shift, given that Canelo Alvarez had previously held all 4 belts while carefully selecting opponents, effectively sidelining legitimate contenders like David Benz and David Morrell. Crawford's controversial jump up 2 weight classes to face Canelo highlighted how fractured the division had become under Canelo's reign. Now, with the titles up for grabs, younger fighters finally have a chance to compete for meaningful championships, promising more competitive matchups at super middleweight. Meanwhile, the boxing world is left questioning what comes next for Canelo Alvarez, who suffered the most significant defeat of his career at Crawford's hands in September. Many believe Canelo was hampered by an injured left elbow that required surgery just a month after the fight, which partly explains why 2 of the scorecards were as close as 115 to 113. Sources suggest that Canelo is eager for a rematch to prove he can beat Crawford with 2 healthy arms, but that opportunity may now be gone unless Crawford reconsiders. Throughout his emotional retirement video, Crawford expressed gratitude to everyone involved in his journey, including his critics, delivering moments that resonated deeply with fans and the boxing community alike.
A couple more questions, but you voiced you don't know how many fights that you actually got left. How does Terence Crawford know when it's time to hang it up?
When I want to. You know, I'm going to retire from boxing before I let boxing retire me. I always said.
Crawford expressed heartfelt gratitude in his retirement message, saying, "I want to thank my haters, my critics, and every opponent who pushed me to places I didn't know I could go. You made me better. You made me sharper. You made me legendary." This level of maturity and perspective is rare in boxing, a sport where many fighters retire with bitterness or regret over fights they never had or money they never earned. He also took care to thank his team, promoters, his hometown of Omaha, Nebraska, and most importantly, his family for the immense sacrifices they made throughout his 17-year professional career. Sources close to Crawford revealed that family considerations played a major role in his decision to retire, as he reportedly wants to be more present for his children as they grow up. One insider said, "Bud has given everything to this sport since he was 7 years old. He's missed birthdays, holidays, and precious time with his kids. Now he wants to make up for that lost time while he's still young enough to be an active father."